New this morning, a motion has been filed to disqualify the judge in the YSL RICO trial, and it also calls for a mistrial in the case. Yesterday, rapper Young Thug's attorney Brian Steele filed a motion against Judge Earl Granville. According to court documents, Steele says the judge should be disqualified and recused as there was a meeting with one of the witnesses back on June 10th. Steele says no one from the defense was told about this meeting, which is illegal and improper. The YSL trial continues today.
Wow. So in the ongoing Young Thug YSL RICO trial, a significant development has occurred with the filing of a second
tonight, a lawyer for rapper Young Thug has now filed a motion to remove the
in the ongoing Young Thug YSL RICO trial, a significant development has just occurred with the filing of a second motion for the judge to recuse himself. Now, this time, the motion actually comes from Brian Steele, who's a very prominent defense attorney. Brian Steele, though, he's being represented by another very well-known attorney by the name of Ashleigh Merchant. Now, there are connections between Young Thug's RICO case and former President Donald Trump's RICO case, suggesting that there's a lot of implications of these cases, which could ultimately reach probably as high as the governor's office. And so this is rather big. In fact, a lot of people are pointing towards January 6th and different legal implications related to Donald Trump taking place. The level of corruption going that far is just unbelievable here, guys. But the details of these connections are basically being kept under wraps. But now the motion that Brian Steele filed yesterday in Fulton County Superior Court, it's seeking not only to have the judge recuse himself, but also to declare a mistrial. Now, this particular move is very significant because Judge Glanville, who's presiding over this particular case, he is perceived to have a very strong bias against Brian Steele. Let's just put it nicely, right? And not to mention other defense attorneys. I mean, look at how Judge Glanville has been treating Ashleigh Merchant as she defends Brian Steele. Now, according to a lot of the observations that I've made, Judge Glanville, he really, favors the prosecution, Fani Willis's team, Adrian Love. And, basically Judge Glanville, he just kind of treats the defense attorneys very unfavorably compared to the prosecutors from the district attorney's office. But there's also been a lot of controversy involving Judge Glanville. So Judge Glanville, including basically this ex parte meeting, which was held without all parties present, in which the judge allegedly participated in this criminal behavior. Here's the thing, though, guys. The judge got ratted out, and rather than either fessing up and saying, hey, yes, we did have this ex parte meeting, this communication, I should have included you as the defense attorney for YSL, for Young Thug. My bad. Here are the cliff notes, or here's the transcript, or even just manning up and stepping down, recusing himself. He didn't do any of that. Rather than doing any of that, he just wanted to attack the whistleblower. Essentially, when he was exposed, the judge kept, trying to identify who told on him. How did you find out this information? Did you have like a secret camera in the room? Were you listening in the hallway? Were you eavesdropping? Who was the rat? Who was the mole? That was the judge's main goal, to figure that out, rather than again, taking accountability or taking responsibility and saying, hey, this happened. He didn't do any of that. In fact, the defense attorney, Brian Steele, he's like, look, we have a legal obligation to be a part of these communications. It is unfair. It is illegal to have a sworn-in witness a part of these conversations without the defense attorneys being present, without all parties being present. So basically, this incident brought to the court's attention by Brian Steele, ultimately leading the judge holding Steele in contempt and basically trying to throw Brian Steele in jail. Thankfully, Ashleigh Merchant stepped in, represented Steele, basically elevated the argument to the Supreme Court and alleviated Brian Steele of having this jail time. But Judge Glanville was trying to throw Brian Steele, who represents Young Thug, in jail for like 20 days. And we've been seeing an unparalleled level of corruption in all of these cases all of these high profile cases in Fulton County, Georgia, even the Donald Trump case with Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. It's really just absolutely crazy. And, you know, Judge Glanville's understanding of contempt, it really appears flawed. You know, definitely confusing civil contempt with criminal contempt. It's like, it makes you question if the judge even understands the law that he's supposed to be presiding over. And of course, Ashleigh Merchant, she intervened by filing a motion to secure a superior bond for Brian Steele, which ultimately was granted by using the same Fulton County Superior Court. But yeah, thankfully, Ashleigh Merchant stepped in, was able to kind of go over the head of Judge Ural Glanville. But this ruling temporarily prevented Brian Steele from having to go to jail as sentenced by Judge Glanville. Now, the situation regarding the contempt ruling, it's still pending, and it may eventually be addressed by the Supreme Court of Georgia. But this latest filing by Brian Steele is a separate attempt to have Judge Glanville recuse himself or call for a mistrial. Now, this follows a previous motion by another defense attorney to recuse Judge Glanville, which was denied despite allegations that the judge violated rights and laws. And so now Brian Steele's recent motion aims to just kind of highlight the issues once again and seek a fair trial for his client. And basically the outcome of this particular motion will be closely watched as it unfolds in the court, and it could ultimately lead to a mistrial. Now, here we have the Superior Court of Fulton County, state of Georgia. We can see that, you know, this is state of Georgia versus Jeffrey Williams, the defendant. Judge Glanville right here, front and center. And this is the motion. Look at this, guys. This is the motion to disqualify, recuse Judge Glanville from all further dealings in the above referenced case, and motion for mistrial, which was goaded by the improper conduct committed in concert by the court and prosecution. And so basically that main line here, this motion to disqualify and recuse Judge Glanville from all further dealings, this is the main idea of this entire motion here. But there's some details in here that I want you guys to pay very, very close attention to. So here, they're calling him out on Monday, June 10th, 2024, within 5 days of the filing of the timely motion. This court, along with prosecutors, engaged in an unlawful, improper ex parte meeting with, among other persons, a sworn witness, Kenneth Copeland, for whom an order to use immunity has been issued on Friday, June 7, 2024. No notice, get this, guys, and this is what Brian Steele was talking about when he came back. Basically, he was going off on the judge for saying that, hey, the court was supposed to start around 9 o'clock in the morning, but no one actually came into the courtroom until about 11:30. During that time, he believed, because he was tipped off by this whistleblower, by this informant, that an ex parte conversation between the judge, the prosecutors, one of the key witnesses had taken place, but the defense attorney, Brian Steele, wasn't there. So he's saying no notice of this ex parte meeting was provided to any attorney for any of the criminally accused in this case. In fact, the accused and their counsel were in the dark that the Star Chamber meeting occurred. Mr. Copeland had previously called to testify on Friday, June 7, 2024, asserted the Fifth Amendment privilege in open court in front of the jury, and was held in contempt and summarily incarcerated until such time as he agreed to testify pursuant to the grant of use of immunity. Now get this, Judge Glanville and prosecutors initially admitted by silence and by statements in open court that the ex parte meeting occurred on the morning of June 10, 2024, which is exactly what Brian Steele was going off on that morning, when the judge pretty much lost it and was ready to throw Brian Steele in jail for calling out this alleged illegal activity. At the earliest opportunity on the afternoon of June 10th, 2024, the court was informed based upon information and belief that the ex parte meeting with the sworn Kenneth Copeland and the prosecution occurred earlier that day, that the witness had made factual admissions and that the statements were made to the witnesses by the court and the prosecutor acting in concert. In other words, acting together about the amount of time that Copeland could be held in custody on contempt. The court ended up denying the undersigned counsel's request for the transcript of the ex parte meeting and denied the timely motion for mistrial based on the improper and illegal ex parte meeting, which violated Mr. Williams' constitutional and statutory rights, including the right to due process, a fair trial, a fair tribunal, ethical prosecutors, and the right to present at every critical stage of the proceedings under the Georgia Constitution. And so essentially, Brian Steele is calling out all of this corruption. I mean, number one, the ex parte meeting, which violated Williams' rights. There was no due process, the fair trial. And the scary part about this is that the judge appears to have been in on this, and it looks like he's trying to basically take away this guy's rights. This is very scary, guys. Let's see. Except as authorized by law or by rule, judges shall neither initiate nor consider ex parte communications by interested parties or their attorneys concerning a pending or impending proceeding. This is the rule of law. This is the Uniform Superior Court Rule 4.1 and Georgia Code of Judicial Conduct 2.9. And it appears, if this judge actually did this, which it certainly appears as though he did, it looks like he just broke the law here. All right. It says here, ex parte hearings are only authorized in the case of extraordinary matters such as temporary restraining orders and temporary injunctions. Quote, in other judicial hearings, both parties should be notified of the hearing with an opportunity of attending and voicing any objections that may be properly registered. This did not happen. This is the very basis of the problem. This is the very basis of this motion to have Judge Ural Glanville recused from the Young Thug trial. And again, this is the same Fulton County court system, where DA Fani Willis is wielding these cases in. This is the same court system where Donald Trump's election interference case was taking place. This is the same court system where Ashleigh Merchant identified the relationship that was going on, the secret relationship between Fani Willis and her estranged lover. Now, if we go down here, get this, guys. Conduct 2.9, assuring fair hearings and ex parte communications provides. It says here, judges shall accord to every person who has a legal interest in a proceeding or that person's lawyer the right to be heard according to law. Judges shall not initiate, permit, or even consider ex parte communications or consider other communications made to them outside the presence of the parties or their lawyers concerning a pending proceeding or impending matter. So, yeah, guys, this is impropriety. This is it looks like, man, and it just goes on and on and on here. It looks like this judge could literally get booted off the case, and with good reason, if you ask me.
RICO trial. Brian Steele filed the motion today to get Chief Superior Court Judge Glanville off the case. The motion accuses Glanville of improperly meeting with prosecutors and a key witness. Steele's disclosure of that meeting earlier this month and his refusal to say who told him about it prompted Judge Glanville to hold Steele in contempt and give him jail time. The motion also calls for a mistrial.
Yeah, guys. I think we're going to see a mistrial on this one. What do y'all think? I think we're very likely to see a mistrial. The attorney-client privilege applies in the judicial and other proceedings in which a lawyer may be called as a witness or otherwise required to produce evidence concerning a client. The rule of client-lawyer confidentiality applies in situations other than so basically, this here is where this is the law segment of this motion where Brian Steele is saying, hey, this is why I didn't reveal my source. I'm protecting my attorney-client privileges in this particular judicial proceeding. Because if you guys remember, like, the judge was so adamant. He was so adamant on, you need to tell me who told you about this ex parte communication. You know, you were not a part of it. So it's like for the judge to be like, you know, saying that Brian Steele wasn't there, but yet he knows about it. It's almost as if, you know, the judge is admitting that this has happened. So it's like admission through I would say it's probably more like admission through, implication, so to speak. But yeah, so this was issued today, and I think it's only a matter of time before we see this entire Fulton County judicial system. We're talking the Fani Willises of the world. We're talking Judge Earl Glanville ultimately being investigated and shut down. But what do y'all think? By the way, if you guys haven't already, please hit the like button for the video, subscribe to the channel. I totally appreciate you guys. Share this video. This is breaking news. This is absolutely breaking news here, guys. Ashleigh Merchant and Brian Steele are demanding that the judge recuse himself in this brand new motion. And they're accusing Fani Willis's office of some crimes here. And it looks like there's a good chance that the judge Earl Glanville may be in on it, right? So this YSL RICO trial is so closely related to Donald Trump's trial, which is looking like it's going to be basically thrown out as more and more details come out. I mean, Fani Willis is looking like, you know, basically Fani Willis, if you look at Donald Trump's case where Fani Willis is the DA for that one, it looks like she may ultimately lose this appeal. It's not confirmed yet, but it's not looking good for her. And it looks like it may be another win for Donald Trump coming up here soon. So anyway, guys, if you haven't already, do hit the like button for the video, subscribe to the channel. I got more breaking news and updates to share with you guys in a few. Check out my previous videos, and I'll see you on the next one.